But for me, right now, at this very moment, like you said, the deer don't have big racks on their head.
Mm-hmm.
They don't. You can't even really decipher them. You say, that could be a good deer, but you don't know, right? So what I'm doing this time of the year is I'm going out and tweaking a few stand sites. I got some spots I haven't quite got to yet, but I'm going to go more to instead of the scouting mass areas. I'm going to go more into going and fine tuning setups. So there's a few spots that I kind of quick scouted that I never set up, which I shouldn't do. I should get those spots set up. But say you got an hour one day, before you got to do something, and I'll run out and scout something quick, and I'll locate some spots, mark them on my phone, and then leave and intend to come back. And I don't get back for a while, but I got to get them done before season. So that really big 10-pointer I was hunting last year, I've got some spots I picked out for him that I have not really tweaked. I just kind of like, well, right here. So now I got to kind of really make sure I got the right tree perfect, the right spot, covering the trail right, the access is right and stuff. So I'll fine tune those spots. And the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go in my journal and I'm going to mark down um, what are my highest possibility stand sites and when I think is the best time to hunt them. And then I'm going to categorize them by wind.
Mm-hmm.
And, then on any given day, no matter what mindset I'm in, if I'm working all day and I'm not thinking right, I can open up that notebook and go to west wind and go, oh, number one, I forgot about that. I got to get out there.
Yeah,
And
that's
I'm
a
going
good
to go
idea.
down and I'm going to randomly pick out those spots one after another this season, most probable to least based on time frames I need to be there and winds I need to be there and hunt them down.
Yep. That's something I do too. Like I actually plan out like, if I have a free couple hours sometime, I'll sit down here pretty soon and just like kind of plan out the rest of the summer, like what I need to get done. Like if I need to go, like I need to spray a food plot, I need
Mm-hmm.
to tinker with some stands that me and dad are going to put up, and like get all that crap organized right now. It's kind of what you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
but a little bit different. And just because, man, the summertime just goes by in a blink of an eye and it's over. And sometimes, having a list of things you want to get accomplished between now and deer season is pretty important. Um, at least to give you something to organize your thoughts a little bit. But that's a good idea going through your stand locations right now, just because it gets a little bit miserable. Like you don't necessarily always want to, you know, if it's 95 degrees outside, I don't know how gung ho a guy's going to be to go and scout for 10 hours in a day.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so sitting down and just thinking about deer season a little bit, it's a good idea, and getting some goals on paper, maybe getting some spots, like you said. That's something I've like started a couple times, is what you talked about, is like getting all my spots written down. And it
Mm-hmm.
just seems like it all falls apart and I don't pay attention to it, but maybe that's something I
What
need to
what I
do this
found
month.
if I don't do that is I'll get halfway through the season and I'll get onto something and I'll be like, oh crap, I should have been here early. Damn, I had this scouted. I had this all figured out. Because you got to remember, your average guy is probably scratching his head, going, "What's he talking about, man? I know those spots
Yeah.
intimately. I'll never forget them." Well, they probably got 5 spots.
Mm-hmm.
I got 200 that I'm thinking
Yeah.
about.
Yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
that's where I'm categorizing them and trying to make sure that I keep track of, where I think certain bucks are living at certain times, so that I'm going after the right buck in the right spots. And if some buck pops up someplace, I know where to go after him. And I can just get a real quick refresher by opening a notebook,
Yep.
and I'll know which wind, which axis, and everything else by looking at that.
Yep. Something else that's good to do right now is like start planning. If you're going to go on an out of state hunt or something, just start thinking about that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
especially if it's your, first one, there's probably some stuff that you don't have that you need. And, um, if you're going to take a buddy, try to make sure you're on the same page with him, and just start kind of maybe having every month talking about that with him and trying to get a plan together, and um, all that stuff. It seems like when out of state hunts, the more prepared you are, the better it goes usually, especially if you got someone going with you.
There's one big thing you're missing though, too, is right now, or at least sometime between now and season, but now ain't a bad time. Guys should get their tree stands out and their climbing sticks
Yeah.
and any other gear, but especially their tree stands and climbing sticks, and go over them really close. Make sure their
Mm-hmm.
cables aren't damaged. Make sure their bolts aren't bent or damaged. Make sure everything's got the right tightness to it, so it folds and holds there, it stays there. Make sure that there's
Stealth
nothing's going to go
strips
wrong,
and
no
all that
cracks in
crap.
it. Yeah,
Yep.
just go over to things because I mean your life depends on that stuff working right. And
Yeah.
even high quality stuff like we sell, you should
Mm-hmm.
still look at it because a cable can get kinked. You can get inside of a truck latch or
Yep.
bolt can somehow get loose or
Yeah.
you know you
Yeah.
should always go over that stuff year after year. And I mean, just the fact of like just say you're the beast bat wing that goes against the tree.
Mm-hmm.
Just say that bolt got a little loose or something. I mean, if you don't realize it, I mean, it can bend on you when you cam lock the stand or something like that. Now they should stay locked together. Don't get me
Right.
wrong, but it doesn't hurt you to once a year give it a good once over.
Yep.
Sticks, stands. I mean, when I think about when I used Lone Wolf gear because they had that moving stuff, on the sticks and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
those bolts would constantly loosen. If you didn't tighten them, you start get the bolts would bend, the holes would get worn out, they'd get worse and worse, they'd start making noise, and then you get
Yep.
floppy. You should keep that stuff in tune.
Something else is like if you're thinking about getting something new, right now is a good time to buy it. Don't freaking wait till September to start buying crap for your arsenal, whether it be a stand or sticks or whatever. It's like if you wait till September, for one, you may not get it. It may not be available, and for two, then you're kind of rushing around and all that kind of stuff.
Or just buy it the afternoon you're going hunting.
Yeah, yeah, right. Uh, but it is something like some guys do. They don't start thinking about hunting until a week before. And it's like, oh,
Well,
I'd like
you
to.
ever walk into an archery shop like the week before deer
Oh,
season?
I'd rather.
Everybody's in there buying their equipment. It's like,
Yeah,
really?
yeah.
You need something just tweaked or something like you're practicing and like, this is wrong. You
Right.
walk in there and you can't even get in the door.
I
It's like,
know.
average people don't think like us.
Right.
It's just totally different.
Yeah. That's a good point. Right now, like if you go to an archery shop right now, you get the first rate service. Nobody else is in there. They'll spend their board, so they'll spend however much time with you usually. Whereas if you go in September or October, it's like, hey, we don't have time for you. Get out of here and keep going.
Yeah.
So just things to think
I
about.
find that actually in a lot of the shops, it really turns me off that a lot of the guys are rude when you come in here like the week before season. It's almost like they get annoyed to a point that they just start getting rude with everybody.
Yeah, probably true.
But
It's
like you
probably
walk
true.
in now, like you said, they're waving at you as you're coming off. Hey, how you doing?
Yep.
Come on in.
If you want to watch another video, click right here. But don't forget to subscribe before you leave.